Now, let's get a roundup of all the sport. And at the Sports Centre, Chris is there waiting. Hello, Chris.
Hello there. Andy Murray has been beaten in the final of the Australian Open in a match full of twists and turns. Novak Djokovic, the world number one, won in 4 sets to take his 5th Australian title, one more than Roger Federer and Andre Agassi, and a record in the modern era. In the end, his 8th Grand Slam victory was won at a canter. Emily Croydon reports.
The long walk to the Rod Laver Arena on finals day is a familiar one for Andy Murray. This is the 4th time he's been here. There was hope this would finally be his year. No man has ever won this title after losing in 3 finals. Murray didn't do a lot wrong early on, but fell a break behind to Novak Djokovic, all quiet in the Murray box. The British number one's fighting spirit was evident, and he had the game to match. Twice he came from a break down. Djokovic complained of problems with his hand and his ankle, but this costly Murray error at 5-all in the tiebreak handed him the advantage and the set. Murray responded well and went ahead at the start of the second, but Djokovic flipped things on their head again with consecutive breaks. As Murray forced a tiebreak with some special tennis, the mental side of this match wasn't going unnoticed. The number 6 seed needed 3 set points, but levelled the match.
He takes it with an inspired piece of returning.
Momentum swung both ways again in the 3rd set, but something troubled Murray in game 8. Moments later, he double faulted and his game disintegrated. Old habits returned as frustration spiralled into a complete collapse. Djokovic wrapped up the match and the championship with a sensational 6-love final set. A match that ebbed and flowed, but ultimately went the way of history. Djokovic wins this title for a 5th time. Murray will hope that one day it'll be 5th time lucky. Emily Croydon, BBC News.
Well, as you saw in that report, up until the middle of the 3rd set, it had been a close, intense battle, but something clearly rattled Murray. You could hear him shouting towards the players' box where his fiancée and coach Amelie Mauresmo sit, but in his post-match interview, he had nothing but praise for his team.
I'd also like to thank my team who are over down that end. We put in a lot of hard work to try and get back in this position after what was a difficult year last year. And unfortunately, couldn't quite do it tonight, but I'm a little bit closer than I was a few months ago, and I'll keep working hard to get there.
OK, John Lloyd joins us now, former British number one and a finalist at the Australian Open yourself back in the 70s. We just heard from Andy Murray there. He looked very frail almost in that clip of him, but in the 2nd set, he had fought back like a real fighter, got himself into this match, and many people saying on commentary, on Twitter, on social media, that that was the turning point. He was going to win the match.
Well, we were saying in the commentary that that 2nd set was obviously crucial. We thought that if he went down 2 sets to love, the match was over. And he came back and won that 2nd set and then was up the break in the 3rd. And for 2.5 sets, it was as good as matches I've ever seen, especially in the Grand Slam final. It was absolutely brilliant.
And what was key for me there, you saw him pointing to his head as if I'm winning the battle, I'm winning the battle of the mind here, because there wasn't much to put between the 2 players, was there? They're very similar in style anyway, aren't they? And you couldn't pick between them, and you thought it was going to be a mental battle in the end. And that's exactly what it was in the end.
Exactly.
Murray
right.
broke down. Why?
He completely broke. Well, he unfortunately went back to his old pre-Lendl days, which he'd have this problem where he'd get into matches and things weren't going right, and he'd start blaming his group and he'd get negative like he is here. And unfortunately, you know, you can sometimes blow up in a match as long as you can immediately get back on track. But when Murray used to do this before Lendl, he would sometimes go in these periods where it would affect him for games on end. And that's what happened today. By the time he snapped out of it, well, he didn't really ever snap out of it, the match was over. And when you're playing Novak Djokovic, it's tough enough playing him anyway. He's one of the greats of all time. You cannot have mental lapses like that where you get negative and you show it to everybody and your body language goes. And it was such a pity because for 2.5 sets, he was magnificent. I mean, he was just, I was looking at him thinking, he is back. But you've got to win 3 sets to win a Grand Slam, and you've got to mentally keep that focus for a lot longer than 2.5 sets.
But are we being too hard on him? We have to remember he's had a pretty hard 2014, back problems, a new backroom staff. Should we not give him a little bit more time to come to full 100% power, if you like?
Well, listen, he was 4 quarterfinals last year at Grand Slams. He's been in the final of the first one. All credit. Great first 2.5 sets. Credit again. A tough match to get through to the final. All credit. But the mental side, you're the boss of that. That's in your hands, and to have sort of almost given that match away because of those lapses it's inexcusable. Not from a person who's already won 2 Grand Slams. If he was a rookie going into his first final, you go, oh, you know, okay, don't worry about it. But that to me was big today, and it showed a weakness once again with Murray that we've seen previously before Lendl. He has to correct that if he's going to win another Grand Slam. If he can correct that, his game, he can certainly win more Grand Slams. I have no doubt about that. But if he doesn't correct that kind of weakness on court, not going to do it.
OK, sounds harsh, but those are the facts. 8 Grand Slam finals and only 2 victories. Thanks very much, John. OK, cricket. England lost the Tri-Series final against Australia by 112 runs. England were set 279 to beat Australia, but they made a shaky start. And they never really got themselves into the game, if truth be told. Glenn Maxwell hit a quick-fire 95 to set the Aussies up. That after they'd lost 4 quick wickets early on. James Faulkner got his 50 off 24 balls. Look at this. A 6 off the last ball of their 50 overs. England then lost wickets in quick succession. This the worst of the lot, really. Owen Morgan going for a golden duck when he thought the ball was going past his stumps. Australia's Hazelwood finished England off with it was an apt wicket. Celtic and Rangers are playing in the second League Cup semi-final match at Hampden Park. The Glasgow rivals last met in April 2012. Great excitement around this match. Just kicked off. No score as yet. There's a big game as well. Just kicked off in the English Premier League. Arsenal 6th, Aston Villa 16th. They've just kicked off, but already Giroud, in good form, you know, has put the Gunners ahead. That's all the sport for you for now. We'll be back a little later.
Chris, thank you. Now, in a moment, we'll be joined by viewers on BBC One. But first, charities are giving people who have been diagnosed with serious